When Now continues. Bounty hunter. When you hear that phrase, it takes you back to the Old West. Wanted posters, gunslingers, sheriffs with 10 stars. But hunting for a bounty still is a well-worn art and still alive. The premise is still the same. Tracking down fugitives for a price. And just like the Old West, bounty hunters today live by their own set of laws, with most states not even bothering to regulate them, which, as Chris Hansen discovered, often causes more problems than it solves.
If it's him, I'll bring him back.
They were heroes.
Go in, mister. When I want a bounty hunter, I'll ask for one.
They were villains. Bounty hunters. The stuff movies are made of.
Where's Sammy?
She's not here.
Well, I need to come in and look.
These are Bounty Hunters 1994 style
Sam.
Mavericks, unregulated, and more part of everyday law enforcement.
Why don't you take all that gold off, man? You're going to lose it there at the jail anyway. Sammy, you got an ID? Hurry up and take care of business. We'll get out of here.
Meet Dan Cuellar, bounty hunter. He and his team work the streets of Fresno, California. They're armed and ready for trouble. They dress in black more to hide than to frighten, because basically they're businessmen, not gunslingers.
It's just like a job. Being a milkman, a cop, or whatever. My biggest weapon is element of surprise. When I make an arrest, I walk up behind that guy and tap him on the shoulder. Turn around.
What is this worth to you, bringing Sammy in today? How much will you make for that?
Maybe $500. You know, after I pay my people and all the overhead stuff, I clear about $200.
Not bad for a morning's work.
No. And we still have about 3 to go, so, you know, it's going to be a nice day today, hopefully. Hi, Leo. What's happening, guy?
Who are you?
I'm with the surety company. Bailed you out, dude.
For the most part, bounty hunters go after the small fry, people who have missed court appearances and forfeited their bail bonds.
I ain't murdered nobody. I ain't jumped bail on no felony or nothing like that. It was just some traffic stuff.
Here's how the system works. A guy like Leo gets arrested. He can't afford bail, so he hires a bail bond company to spring him from jail. The company makes Leo sign a contract that says if he fails to show up for court, the company can have him rearrested anytime, anywhere, by virtually any means necessary. That contract gives tremendous power to the bondsman's agent, the bounty hunter, a private citizen with a gun.
So who y'all gonna get next? Some mass murderers? Axe killers, things like that?
Another bad boy.
Unlike police, bounty hunters don't need a search warrant to enter a home, and the amount of force they use is their call.
I'm an honest person. I'm a hard-working person. I've been to law a lot, but that's the difference between law enforcement and my job.
Is there anybody out there right now, or any group regulating bounty hunters? Any type of a watchdog?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of.
Don't move. Don't get scared. I'm going to spray off the side. Just look at me, okay?
Bounty hunters are unregulated and unsupervised. They train themselves or pay for courses taught by self-appointed experts.
You don't give a damn if they jump bail for manslaughter, child molestation, drunk driving, or murder. That's none of your business. You're arresting this person because he violated the contract. That's all.
Bob Burton teaches seminars. He also founded the National Association of Bail Enforcement Agents. Burton says he worries that his profession can attract the wrong kind of person.
There are individuals who just are imbued with a macho attitude. They want to kick in the door rather than knock on it. They want to put the man in the trunk of the car instead of putting him in the rear of the car, the rear seat of the car. We're looking for these people as badly as police agencies may be looking for them. We don't want them in the trade.
One bounty hunter that law enforcement did go after is Keith Rodas. He armed his Louisiana team as if it was going to war.
We brought sawed-off shotguns, 357s, 9mm, Tech 9s.
Curtis Turner will never forget the night Rodas came after him. Turner had shoplifted 2 bottles of aspirin. He was on a $500 bond. By mistake, he showed up a day late for his court date. But by the time the bounty hunters showed up at his door, he wasn't wanted anymore.
Oh, about 6 of them, they all rush in, guns drawn. They come over to me. They knock all my furniture down that was in that area. And they come over with the guns and the billy clubs, and they hit me, spraying me with mace.
When Keith Rodas and his gang of bounty hunters were finished with Curtis Turner, this is what he looked like.
When they grab me by the legs and drag me through this door, they don't get me up on my feet or nothing. They just grab the shackles and drag me down this concrete stair. Mr. Turner, everything that he got or that happened to him, he brought on himself. It's better than me shooting him, you know?
Curtis Turner wasn't Rodas's only victim. Leonard Stevens says Rodas dragged him from his rural home twice and beat him both times.
I get the bleeding so bad until they would take a towel and force my mouth open and shove it in there, soaking the blood up to keep it from getting in their car.
That's how bad you were bleeding?
Oh, yeah.
You never took a cheap shot at Leonard Stevens?
I had no reason to take a cheap shot. He's a dollar sign for all I'm concerned, okay?
You were convinced that he was out there breaking the law.
He was going to break the law, and he was going to kill somebody.
Police Detective Tony Radasti made it his mission to stop Keith Rodas. He helped nail Rodas with 3 felony convictions. But Radasti says Rodas is only one example of a system that is out of control.
If you wanted to be a bounty hunter, so all you got to do is walk in that door and say, I'll pick up your skips. He gives you those pictures, and you go out there and do your best.
So these guys are out there veritably uncontrolled.
Free agents, as you call them. They're out there totally uncontrolled. In the case of Rodas, totally out of control.
Keith Rodas received probation for his bounty hunting convictions. He also served 8 months in jail for writing bad checks.
You would like to one day go back and be a bounty hunter?
One day I will go back.
You're positive of that?
I'm positive of that.
Soon?
Sooner than a lot of people may think.
Sooner than we thought. A few weeks after our interview, Keith Rodas gathered and armed another gang of bounty hunters. They handcuffed and beat Roland Salim, and then discovered Salim wasn't wanted.
I don't really know what stopped them from killing me that night, because they had the options to do it. They could have killed me.
The bounty hunters knew they had the wrong guy, but instead of just letting him go, they robbed him at gunpoint and took off. Police tracked Rodas to Hammond, Louisiana, where he led Officer Dennis Peavy on a high-speed chase.
The warrant was for armed robbery, so I just took it for granted that he was armed.
Rodas turned onto a dead-end street and skidded to a stop.
He never did turn around or anything. He just stayed in the seat looking forward. So, and due to the siren, I didn't hear the shot, and I didn't see the gun.
Keith Rodas killed himself with a .357 Magnum.
I believe he had an idea that he wasn't going to be taken into custody.
The bad bounty hunter the system couldn't stop finally came to the end of the road.